The White House is now eyeing an income cap on student loan forgiveness, but there are concerns that erasing that debt will benefit the rich and cost the country hundreds of billions of dollars. And of course, still, the squad is ramping up pressure on President Biden, with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez insisting the move is good for everyone, even those who have already paid off their student debt. She posted on Instagram, quote, "We can support things we won't directly benefit from." Meantime, critics say Biden is using a potential student loan bailout to bribe young voters, with polls showing his approval rating among that group having dropped sharply. Kennedy.
Line item income tax returns. That's what we need so we decide where our tax money goes. AOC is absolutely wrong on this. And if there's enough support in this country, then people can choose where their tax dollars go. And this is one of them, that if there are benevolent taxpayers out there who want to give their money to student loan forgiveness, then they can do that. But, you know, by and large, and study after study, whether it's Penn or the Brookings Institution, it shows that the top 20% of earners in this country, they're the ones who benefit dramatically from student debt forgiveness. And people who get four-year degrees make $1 million on average over their lifetime more than people who don't get four-year degrees. So they can afford the debts. The other thing is, don't go to private colleges and get an obscure degree where, if you look at your major and people who try to get jobs after school, they're only making $30,000 a year. That's not a good choice. You have to do the cost-benefit analysis before you sign on the dotted line. That's part of being an adult. College is a very adult decision, and people have to rethink this and put more pressure on colleges and universities to reduce administration, because that's where the costs are coming from, and there is no incentive for them to curtail these ballooning costs.
That's right, administration and pensions. And that's a great idea, by the way. That's a lot of our bar fees, our bar dues in our states are optional, that you can allocate towards benevolent organizations if you so choose. You don't have to, though. And Tommy, so she spoke about the division, right? The income inequality, essentially, that this will go to.
And even having an income gap is not enough. A cap on that is not enough, because that just further divides the country. We don't need this right now, but I'm so glad you brought that up. Listen, if your degree does not hold enough value for you to pay it off, it certainly doesn't hold enough value for me and the rest of the American taxpayers to pay it off. So I think that's excellent. You're not going to go to school for 4 years and party and have a great time on the taxpayer's dime and then look back and say, boy, I'm glad I got a free ride to have a little fun. That's not how this works. So I'm so glad that we're talking about this. Young people, it's not that we're against you. It's not that we don't agree that tuition is outrageously priced, but I agree with you. We need to work on the fees, the pensions, but also, what about these liberal professors that are pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach maybe one class? Maybe we could start looking there. If they're willing to really spread the wealth there, maybe they'll teach for free. I think it's a question we should pose to them, and maybe reallocate their salaries to these struggling students who apparently need it so much.
That's a good idea too, Kayleigh.
Remember, President Biden was among those honorary professors at the University of Pennsylvania, and he took in some money, and I think he only went to the campus once, we reported a few weeks ago. So interestingly, you're right about the faculty. To your point about the top 20% of earners, this allocates about $192 billion to them.
Wow.
This is a payout to the rich. That's what this is. And if the GOP were smart, it's incredibly important, as Biden makes this gamut, to win back young voters. That's what this is about. Precipitously, his poll numbers are falling off for young people, so he's trying to garner, to pump those up ahead of midterms. The GOP needs to say this is a payout to the rich. 2/3 of the nation doesn't have bachelor degrees. You are paying to fund someone else's college tuition. So I hope they get the message. As Ro Khanna says, it's not enough to forgive the interest. Got to go after the principal, too. They're just going to ask for more.
And Andy, this is just one more example where this party speaks out of both sides of their mouth, right? They say, oh, we are for the underserved communities, those that need access to education, but all this is doing is benefiting those with more money, but you're never going to get that in the media, in the narrative pushed by the mainstream media.
No, it's obscene. It's a bribe. But I want to talk about the bottom 20%, not the top 20%, because that's the part that's unseen. We already have 8% inflation in this country, which is crushing people at the bottom, but it's the unseen tax, right? So people don't, everybody notices it, but it doesn't get calculated. So we're going to solve that by basically throwing another $1 trillion+ into the economy under circumstances where what's caused the inflation is the trillions that we've already thrown in, which is going to raise costs for those people at the bottom. It's just obscene. It's ridiculous.
Right, but it's typical. That's chapter 2 of the Democrat playbook, which is spend more of our money.